Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. And thank you for subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm your boy, 12 Kyle. Check this out. On this episode, we are bringing back the VERZUZ series. If you're familiar with the podcast, the first episode that I did was with my girl Britt, and we talked about what's the 411 versus My Life from Mary J. Blige. On this episode, we're going to take it to hip hop, and we're going to talk about two incredible albums from one incredible artist. The two albums are Like Water for Chocolate and B, and both of those albums are from Chi-Town's own Common, formerly known as Common Sense. And I had this episode idea for a while for the verses when I started writing down the albums that I wanted to do verses for. And when I started looking around and thinking about who I could, collaborate with, I mean, who better than today's guest, friend of the show, man, a dope brother, dope podcaster. He's got his own podcast, Rodis Live. Welcoming into the 12 Kyle podcast for the first time, my man Rodis is in the building. Rodis, what's popping?
What's popping? What's popping, listeners of the 12 Kyle show? I'm honored to be here. We're about to get into this thing.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, he like I said, we this is the first time he's been on my podcast. I've been on his, and we did a great job, man, on his podcast, just chopping it up. And I know this is gonna be more of the same. And like I said, when you think about Common, Common represents the city of Wynn, Chicago, and so does this guy right here, big time Chicagoan. This guy's an author, he's an MC, and he's a dope podcaster. So Rodis, before we get started, let's talk about you real quick. Tell folks when they tune in, because I know they're going to tune in because they're going to listen to this podcast and they're going to be like, oh, that dude is dope, I got to check him out. What are they going to get when they listen to the Rodis Live podcast?
Well, when you listen to the Rodis Live podcast, you're going to get a lot of hip hop, you're going to get a lot of urban culture, and you're going to get some gems on entrepreneurship. That's what you could expect. And once you listen, you're going to come back to listen again. You can't get a dose. You can't get too much of it. So right now, currently, I'm doing season 6. I'm in season 6 right now. And I'm halfway through with the season. I'm only doing 15 episodes, but at the time of this recording, episode 10 drops tonight.
Yes, sir.
Episode 10 drops tonight. And it's going to be pretty dope. It's available on all streaming platforms, the Rodis Live podcast. Y'all check it out. Get in tune. Like, share, subscribe.
For sure. Tap in. So when we talk about Common, before we get into the verses, my first memories of Common, I want to say was probably Can I Borrow a Dollar album. I think I'd heard maybe a song or two off that joint, and then obviously with the Resurrection album, with the hip hop classic song, I Used to Love Her. But I really didn't like go in on Common until One Day It'll All Make Sense. That's the first Common album that I actually purchased. And man, Rodis, I played that until, man, I played that CD forever until it just got scratched up and I couldn't play it no more, man. And Common quickly became one of my favorite MCs because of his laid back style, but he was very lyrical and very visual. And the thing that I always loved about Common was, like, he was kind of like, for the Common, he wasn't on no gangster shit. He was just a regular dude that could spit, and I appreciated that. And dudes from Chicago just had that kind of vibe to make you want to listen to him. What about you? And you being from Chicago, what's some of your first memories of Common?
Well, Common, he went to CVS High School. That's in Chicago, and a lot of people don't know that Common could hoop.
And then at the time,
at the time that he made his first album, One Day It'll All Make Sense, or Can I Borrow a Dollar, he was well respected in the streets because he was a cool dude, and he was tied in with the Four Corner Hustlers. You know what I'm saying? So like Common, he could go anywhere. You know, you be hearing if you really listen to his lyrics when he be hitting you with that tough shit. That's how he is. You know what I'm saying? He's just like a cool nigga you always see with a Heineken and shit. That's his vibe. With a gang of chicks around.
I've only seen him once. I saw him one time here in Atlanta, and we were outside the sports bar. And to what you just said, he had 3 bad joints with him, and this was I think this was after he was dating Badu, and I don't know who it was between her and somebody else, and maybe I can't remember the other chick's name, but Common, he's known for the ladies too, so
yeah,
for sure.
So, like I went to the listening party for the Finding Forever. I went to that listening party, and I was also on a video set for The Corners when he shot The Corners. I was there with GLC on the Drive Slow homie. That's my man, GLC.
Word, shout out to GLC.
He was like, man, Common album cold. He told me that. He said, man, come to the video shoot, man. He was like, be cold,
Wow, that's what's up. That's what's up, and that's and he was somebody that got a lot of. I know you mentioned, as far as like the respect he got, but did he get a lot of support? Because I know, like he mentioned, there was a point in time when he left the city and went to New York or whatever like that, and that's when he started creating these albums that we're going to talk about. Did he get a lot of support in the city?
Well, Chicago, it's a lot of hate. It's a lot of crabby acting motherfuckers here. But sometimes you gotta leave out and come back to get your respect. But for us, the top tier artists and the people in the game, yeah, they respect the comment. But I'm gonna tell you, when I found a newfound respect from them when I was in the Marines. So like in 1995, people from New York and New Jersey, they had Common in their top 5. I was like, damn. And
yeah,
I was like, man, I haven't even listened to any of his stuff at that point, and I was kind of fucked up. I was kind of embarrassed. So I was like, let me go ahead and get I got the album with Lauryn Hill on it, and I listened to it. And I heard that Retrospect for Life. I was like,
that was cold. That was
cold. Yeah, I'm like, man, Common, he that dude for real. And then, I started seeing him in passing and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely. I mean, you could see and hear the development in what he was doing and what he was talking about. And I think that's the thing as a fan that I really appreciated. His development and just overall his skill set. And he was somebody that really, even as an accomplished MC, he was still somebody that was still working on his craft. And I think that's to be commendable, because, he wasn't one of those people that got to a certain place in hip hop and was like, I'm good. I can do this or do that. He was really, and that comes with the, with respect that you talked about. So let's get into it, man. The Versus. This is how it goes, folks. For those of you, if you're not familiar, what we do is we take 2 albums from a particular MC, and then, it's easy to just say, hey, well, what's the best MC, or who's your favorite MC, or who's your top 5? We get into those conversations all the time, and there's no really right or wrong answer. The thing that I always say is that, when you start talking about a top 5 or top 10 or even 2 albums, you have to say, well, hey, what's the criteria? So in doing the Versus, we break it down. And what I mean by breaking it down, we put it into a criteria. We have 5 specific criterias that we're going to talk about. But let me just give you a background. I came to this idea of doing Versus because the word classic gets thrown around a lot. In my opinion, it gets thrown around way too much.
Agreed.
it's a word that's, you know, exclusively used by fans that, you know, to talk to each other. And it's a term that's, you know, used for creating debate. Whether or not something is a classic or isn't a classic, or really good, really doesn't have to do with the artist. Sometimes it's just about somebody's personal favorite. And that's a way that people kind of use, particularly hip hop fans use to connect with each other. But besides going down the classic route, what we wanted to do with the verses is, like I said, structure it, have a specific set of criteria, and then go from there. And then rank the albums based on the criteria that we lay forth. So here's the criteria. 1, coherence. Oftentimes there's a certain theme of an album, something that the artist is going through. Occasionally this produces concept albums. This can be the difference between an album being good and being great. Number 2, impact. Now, impact is something that's hard to measure, but you know, an album may or may not receive critical acclaim when it first comes out, but it may be influential over a period of time. Replayability is number 3. When you have quality songs, and replayability will give you the idea or the mindset to, you know, keep playing those quality songs and playing them more and more and more over a period of time, not just a one hit or something that's just like for the moment. And obviously lyrics. How does the artist sound on this particular album? Do the words ring in your memory? And last but not least, the production. How does the album sound sonically? Who produced it, and was it well synchronized? Sequence, I'm sorry. So that's the basic how we came up with this. And so, like I said, Like Water for Chocolate. Let me give you guys a quick background on Like Water for Chocolate. If you're not familiar, get familiar. This album was released. This album came out March 28th, 2000. Very, very dope album. It was 77 minutes, and Common really, really, really did his thing on this album. And we'll talk a little bit more about the production as we get further down. And then this is Versus B. B was released May 24th, 2005, a runtime of 42 minutes. So with that being said, Rodis, I got my sheet of paper here, so I'm going to keep score. So we're gonna rank them from 1 to 5 based on each criteria, and then when we're done, we will figure out which artist. Let me get my pen. Which artist has the quote unquote best album? So let's start first with Like Water. Well, let's start first with the criteria of coherence. With Like Water for Chocolate. Like I said, coherence could be talking about a theme. Sometimes it's what the artist is going through, their development, where they are in life. So when you talk about Like Water for Chocolate, if you're scoring Like Water for Chocolate on a scale from 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest, for coherence, how would you score that?
I'll give it a 4.
Okay. So
because this really shows the depth of Common.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that I don't like about Like Water for Chocolate is even though it showed a lot of depth, like starting with the first track, Time Traveling, he was playing on that motherfucker. He was coming, but I'm like, dude, is the track over or not? Not that I didn't want to hear it, but the shit was like a tease. I'm like, I mean, he bringing it, but I'm like, yo, like you got me stuck in time. I want to hear the rest of this shit, you know?
Right. Oh, no doubt. That track is I think it's the longest track on the album. It's 6 minutes and 37 seconds.
It is. I'm like, yo, like I don't know what you and Black Thought and all y'all doing up in this motherfucker, man. Get this shit over with.
Actually, I stand corrected. The longest song is a song for Asada. That's 6 minutes and 48 seconds.
Right.
So it's got it by a couple of seconds.
We'll get to that. I don't want to jump ahead.
Right. Coherence, I'm going to give it a 4 as well. I think it's very solid. I think that the theme that Common is and where he was on this particular album, I think is a good place. And I think, you know, with a song like Time Traveling, I think that gets you started on this journey, and he takes you through a lyrical journey as to where he was. And you can kind of tell just based on by some of the things that he talks about on this album, where he was, in a, I guess, maturity level, if you will. And so that kind of resonated with me as well. So now we go to B, coherence. How would you score that on from 1 to 5?
Then we just do coherence.
Yeah, we're gonna do coherence for B as well. We're gonna do. We'll go back
B?
and forth. Yeah, for B.
5.
Okay.
I give it a 5.
Why you give it a 5?
The reason why I give it a 5 because it's all the elements of Chicago in that record. He spitting that shit. Even with Kanye on the album, it really didn't bother me. Even though sometimes he put himself places where he not wanted, it didn't affect it because Common, he was bringing that shit, and they would spend a lot of Chicago shit. It's like, you gotta be from here. Like the stories was good, everything, like the true essence, like from the first 3 tracks, they was going in, and all the other shit too, and they had J Dilla on that, man. Come on.
No doubt. Coherence, I'm gonna give this a 4 as well. I think some of the things that you said, I think this was, and I think B, part of the appeal for B is because there was an album. Go ahead.
Kanye was working on it.
Well, I mean that too, because now for those of you, and we'll get into the production at the end, but Jay Dilla did most. Yeah, Jay Dilla did most of the production on Like Water for Chocolate. Kanye did most of the production on B. So it's almost like Jay Dilla versus Kanye, 2 of the arguably top 10 producers of all time. But you just mentioned it. The album in between Like Water for Chocolate and B was Electric Circus. And I don't know about you, Rodis, but I bought Electric Circus and I ended up throwing it away. Like I couldn't vibe with it.
I got Electric Circus, and I was playing it for my daughter. I think she was like, I don't know, maybe 9 or some shit.
Okay.
And I was like, should we throw this out? She was like, the music is weird, but he's saying some good stuff. Listen to him. But the lyrics didn't go good with the music, the instrumentation.
Yeah, I think, and that was he was in the crochet pants. He was heavily involved with Erykah Badu at the time.
Still shopping like a motherfucker.
So I think B kind of got him back, if you will. And I don't know that it was. Honestly, I can't even sit here and say how good or how bad Electric Circus was because I didn't. Looking back on it, man, I didn't give it a chance. I'll be honest. I didn't give it a chance. I listened to it and I didn't like what I heard, so I just stopped fucking with it.
The rhymes was good, but the music was fucked up.
And see, I've heard opposite. I've heard like some people like the music didn't like his rhymes.
Yeah, it wasn't a marriage at all.
Yeah, so
I should have threw it out myself, but out of respect for Common, I didn't.
So I gave it a 4. All right, so now replayability. So when you talk about replayability, again, how much did you bump it back then? How much are you, if you still bump it today, and how you bumped it over a period of time? And these albums, are 20 plus years old, or this was coming up on 20 years. B is coming up on 20 years. Like Water for Chocolate is already 20 years. Replayability, Like Water for Chocolate. What would you score that?
Oh wow. 3.5.
Okay.
Because it's sections in the album that's really good. Then it kind of so from track 2 to 10, the shit is flawless.
Okay.
Then it fall off. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm like, yo, the best part of the album after track number 10, A Song to Asada, is long as hell, but I love when his pops be spitting that shit.
Yeah, man. Rest in peace.
Yeah, so Other than that, it drop off. Like, some of them songs shouldn't have been on that. Like even Payback by the grandmama shit. Payback is my grandmama and shit.
Yeah.
It was clever, but I
Mhm.
was like, come on, you could have came up with something better than this, my dude.
Real okay. So now for me, so you gave it 3.5. For me,
Mm-hmm.
I got to give it a 5.
Okay.
I love playing this album. This is one of
Okay.
the albums, Riders, man. I ain't gonna lie. I listen to it a couple of times a month. Like
Okay.
when I get into the, Soul Quarians and Soul Quarians, Questlove,
Yeah.
D'Angelo,
Yeah.
Common, Erica Badu, all of them. When I get into that realm each month, I gotta listen to all of these albums. So I listen to them together. So let me let the cat out of the bag. This is my favorite Common album. So
Okay.
um there's only really one skip on this album for me. But yeah, replayability. I mean, I listen to it a lot. I still listen to B. I don't listen to B as much. And I think B is incredible. And then there are times, Riders, I'll be honest, there'll be times where I'll listen to B and then I gotta listen to like Water for Chocolate. Or I'm
Like
listening to like
Water for Chocolate bang though. It
Yeah.
bang and it's good
Yes.
and it's good pockets. I mean, it really bang,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, its replayability for me definitely goes high. What's your replayability for B?
It's an easy listen. Shit. 4.5.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
I could relate to a lot of the things that he's talking about, and the music is so good. Like after, if you heard the Electric Circus, you was happy when B came out. He was
Hell
like,
yeah.
man, Common was standing in the shelves. He back, he got on some hard bottoms and some jeans and a blazer, and he got his hat on like Coach Cheese from Cooley High. Okay, coming back. We saved them. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. He did. Yeah. This was definitely a
it's
bounce
a
back.
breath of fresh air.
Man, listen, because we particularly, people like us who were Common fans,
Mm-hmm.
Electric Circus had us worried, extremely
Yeah,
worried.
man.
Um,
Yeah.
let's see, replayability. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna give that a 4. I think again, it's an easy list, and I agree with you. It's relatively short. When
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to like Water for Chocolate, which is 77 minutes, so it's over an hour.
Man.
And yeah, it does, but to me, it doesn't feel like it. But I get what you're saying. But B is 42 minutes, so they pretty much get in and get out. It's 11 tracks, and they in and out. So now let's move to the lyrics.
Oh man.
Riders.
Like Water for Chocolate, the lyrics is a 5.
Mm.
I'm gonna give it a 5. Like he was going in on Hove on there. He went in on Hove ass. I don't know if people heard that shit, but he went in.
When you think he went on hold?
He went in on Hove on doing it. I'm doing it. Doing it.
Which verse? I mean, what you remember?
He talking about the Jiggy rapper. He talking about you used to go to your projects, you can't come back, and all of that shit.
Oh wow, I didn't know.
I don't want to hear about that shit that you did, nigga, motherfucker. You whack. You ain't hear that? Oh,
I didn't know that was directed at Hove. I heard.
Yeah.
I did catch the shot that he gave at DMX. Back to back LPs that sound the same.
Mm-hmm.
10 years ago, you tried to rap like Kane. Then Snoop released and it became a G things, claiming that your street don't have gangs.
But look, Hove used to run with Big Daddy Kane. Hove used to run with him, and he couldn't get signed. Nas said that, and yeah, I think they both talking about Hove.
Okay,
ain't no gangs in Marcy. It ain't.
Yeah, I gotta go back and listen to that because I never caught I caught the DMX. I didn't catch Hov though, but I'll go back and listen to that. Okay, okay.
Man, he went in on Hov, and that's
I
kind of
love
why I
doing that.
like Water for Chocolate, because wasn't nobody saying shit about it.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't come out blatantly and say it, but he
Right,
did. You
right.
know,
Um, like Water
man,
for Chocolate. I gotta as far as lyrics, I gotta give him a 5 on that too, man.
yeah.
He was just there. I mean, like
Hmm.
he was this is vintage Common. You know, I think you could see the build up from One Day It'll All Make Sense, which is I think is still a dope ass album.
Yeah,
But yeah, man, I think this one right here, I think lyrically he was right there. He was where he needed to be.
yeah.
Um
Common was dressed up outside with the pimps on this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
exactly, exactly. What about the lyrics for B? What you got on that?
Ah, man, he was saying some slick shit on beat too. I gotta give him a 5.
Okay, okay. Um, I liked it. I really liked it. I'm gonna give him a 4. Um, and I almost feel bad giving him a 4 because I don't think he fell off, but I think like he might have been at his peak, but he was just it was so this right on songs like Go. What's my other joint? The Corner.
Food,
Um, um, Shy City. I love Shy City.
real
Um,
people.
yes,
I
yes,
love,
yes.
I love the B sides, and that's when you could tell
Mm-hmm.
when an MC really showing out. You know, I to keep from giving Common a 4 or a 4.5, I had to
Mm-hmm.
tune out anything Kanye was on. Okay, let me
Okay.
block Kanye out and listen to this man. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. Um, I think Testify was probably my least favorite. Um, it was okay, and then he did a video for it, and I get why why because that was a popular song. So that I think Testify probably is the one that even though it's kind of like a story, it kind of knocks it down a little bit, but it doesn't take much away from it. So, I mean, even giving him a 4, I'm still. So you gave him. Let me go back. So for B, you gave lyrics 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wrote down 4. Let me make sure I got the right one.
No. 4.5 for
Okay.
B.
Okay,
5 for like Water for Chocolate.
All right, 4.5. 4.5. And then for lyrics for B, I gave it a 4. All right, so now let's go to Impact.
No.
Whew, this is tough because this is very subjective when you talk about Impact.
Yeah.
These albums might not receive critical acclaim. The repercussions and the influences may be further and further down the road. Um, what say you? Impact, like Water for Chocolate.
Like Water for Chocolate. I'm gonna give it a 4.5 because I went, even though it might not have sold too good, I went back and looked at the streams. 13 million streams for one song. 20 million streams for another song. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's good. So mainly all of the songs that they push, like The Light and some of the other songs on like Water for Chocolate, people went back to listen to the video songs. You know what I'm saying? But far as hip hop go, like, man, Common like every your favorite rapper, you know.
Right.
So for
Exactly.
Impact, I'll give it maybe like a 4.
Okay.
That's for physical copy CDs and internet. 4.
Okay. So so Impact, he gets a 4 for Like Water for Chocolate.
Yeah.
For me, Impact, I'm gonna give it a 4 as well. I think when you look at songs like The Light, and for him to
Yeah.
be able, for them to be able to use the Bobby Caldwell sample, rest in peace, Bobby Caldwell. You can make a case that that's probably Common's biggest song.
I agree.
Yeah, it's probably his biggest song, and that's probably the song that people outside of hip hop really know him for. And it's probably definitely his most popular song. But yeah, that I think that was the impact there. Like I said, I love this album.
Once you get the ladies love Cool Calm. Goddamn it.
There you go.
They love Cool Calm.
Or they call him by his name, Rashid.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
they call him Rashid. Conversely, B, what you got on the impact of B?
Well, after the Electric Circus, and the hype was big from the corner. Him getting back with Kanye and everything, but without beating around the bush, a 5. It's a 5. People was checking for this month. They was checking for it.
Yeah. I remember what's the joint? The food.
Yeah.
I remember that premiering live on Dave Chappelle. And in fact, the album version I think is what they use for on Chappelle. Yeah, man, that
Dave Chappelle, real hip hop head. Shout out to
sir.
Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, shout out to Dave. And I think Rodgers, I think really this helped Kanye. I mean, we're gonna get into Kanye in a second, but this helped Kanye, I think, get on his production run that he would kind of spill over into his career and then, further on. I'm gonna give it a 4.5, man. I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
I think B is better than the Blueprint 1.
Ooh, Rodgers, you stepping on some toes now.
I know. Hey, I said it, y'all.
Hey, don't make the whole Avengers come after you.
Man, hey, come on. Hove got enough problems already. Shout out to you for opening your museum and all of that, but we ain't gonna talk about Nas and this 5-album run. Pause.
Okay, so now I gave that 4.5. What did I give B? I forgot to write mine down. What did I give B? I mean, I like Water for Chocolate on impact. I gave it at a
4.5.
So both got 4.5. Okay.
Right.
All right. So now we're at the spot where all eyes are on us, Riders. Man. Production. Again, like Water for Chocolate, has 16 tracks, and I think 11 of them are produced by James DeWitt Yancey, aka the King of Beats. My man, rest in beats, Jay Dilla. Also produced on this album, Questlove from The Roots, D'Angelo, James Poyser, and Kareem Riggins, as well as DJ Premier with one track.
DJ Mother effing Premier.
And conversely, on B, you got Kanye West, who produced of the 11 tracks, he produced 9 of them. And the 2 that he did. Yep, and the 2 that he did not do, Jay Dilla did. And we all know about the closeness and brotherhood that both Jay Dilla and Common shared.
That was roommates, yeah.
Yep. Jay Dilla's last year on this earth, he spent most of his time with Common as they were roommates, and Common's looking out for him and everything like that. So in a lot of ways, Rod, it's just a battle of beats.
It is a battle of beats, but you're gonna be surprised.
So production wise, man, like Water for Chocolate, man, what you got?
I think the production on Like Water for Chocolate is better than B. B is, even though B is an easier listen, Like Water for Chocolate, bang all throughout. It's the same. It's sequenced perfect. And I have to give it a 5.
So a 5 for production. Yeah, man. I cannot disagree with anything you said. I mean, from Jay Dilla to Questlove to D'Angelo,
Premier.
and Primo in the middle, man. I mean, like, and keep in mind, like, I lost my mind. I was like, yo, and he had a video too for 6 cents. That was
Man, that shit was cold.
Oh my god, I was like, man, because I mean, like at that particular time, Primo wasn't really. I'm not gonna say he wasn't rocking with cats like Common, but that wasn't
You didn't expect it.
Exactly. So production wise, man, I gotta give it a 5, man. I gotta give it a 5. Conversely, B production, what you got?
Ah, man. 4.5. I'll give it a 4.5. And that none of that don't go against the great Jay Dilla. Cause he bought that shit on his two tracks. One of them songs, I don't know. Even though Testify is a good song, I think that might be the worst beat on the album.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
Testify sounds like something that Kanye probably would have kept for himself.
Yeah.
For one of his albums or something like that.
But I do like how Common flipped it. You know, so I listened to Testify, just the track, for maybe like 3 times in a row, and I was saying, like, damn, what if Kanye was on this? Nah, it wouldn't be that good. So that's why I'm giving it a 4.5.
Yeah, man, I gotta agree with you, man. I gotta give it a 4.5 too. And that's no knock on it. I think Testify brings it down just a notch. But I mean, Kanye, I tell you what saves it, It's Your World. And that's Jay Dilla. Man,
yeah. Jay Dilla bought it, man. Listen.
Come on, man. And that's an 8-minute track. With
he bought it.
You know, with Common's dad at the end. And Common's dad appears on both albums on the final song of both albums.
Sealed the deal. He be dropping game. He be dropping gems on everything.
If you're not a fan, if you never heard it, please get familiar. Do yourself a favor. Listen to Common's albums. His dad is on the last track of both of these albums. And his dad is just spitting the real. And unfortunately, he's no longer with us. He passed away a few years ago. But Pops, as they call him, he dropped some gems. I think it's just a slight notch below. I think this is probably Jay Dilla's best production all the way through, across the board in anything. Because like you said, I mean, doing it when that bass line comes on, come on, man.
I had to rewind that 3 times. 3 times in the CD. Like, let me. What did he just say? What?
I love it, man. I mean, the questions.
Oh man, a film called Pimp. Come on.
Now, you know what? And that's where I wanted to go. You like that is the one skip song on this album for me. Right. I ain't like it. I didn't. Riders, I tried. And I mean, I get the concept of it. You know, he's a pimp and he's talking to MC Light, and MC Light spitting this pimp shit. And you know, that's
Light
really
bodied him.
She did, but the thing about it is, like, you can't get bodied by MC Light on your joint, and so
you can't. But damn, I don't know now. It's a few. I don't know, man. I like to hear MC Light with a couple of some other people on there.
No doubt.
But I think Common let her have it.
I think so too.
You know, that's what I honestly think.
But I think, like you mentioned, is well sequenced. But that's the one song that I don't. And the other thing that I don't like is this has nothing to do with the album, but if you listen to it on streaming, the Ghetto Heaven verse is the verse the Ghetto Heaven song is the one with Macy Gray and not the one with D'Angelo. And I never want to hit a one with Macy Gray.
I like the D'Angelo version.
Oh yeah, I love that joint, man. D'Angelo was cooking it.
I think they put Macy Gray on that to sell the record.
I think it was something like, and I know there's a story behind it. I didn't look it up, but I think it was something contractual or some foolishness, and it might have been to sell records. I don't know, but on the original presses on the CD that I actually purchased, it was D'Angelo. But I love that joint. A song for Asada, that was dope for me because I wasn't familiar with that. I didn't, Rodis, until I heard that song, I had never heard of Asada Shakur ever.
Yeah, man.
Wasn't familiar with her story or anything. And, that kind of, it takes me back, man, because you and I come from an era where rap would educate you. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop would educate you. If you didn't know something, you could learn your history just by listening to some songs in hip hop. And we're so far removed from that. Preach. We're so far removed from that now, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean it's, and then conversely, man, I mean B just flows. I mean, you got the last poets. You got the last poets on. Come on, man. And so that just flows. Like I said, the food, real people, and Kanye's production again is tight. I think this
stellar. It is stellar on there.
This is one of the things, I think one of these albums that kind of helped propel him to where he would go further in his career.
Yeah,
and I'm not mad at it at all. It was there. What's your favorite track on both of these albums? If you had to pick one favorite track.
My favorite track or a favorite song?
Favorite song.
Okay, my favorite song on Like Water for Chocolate is I like B-sides. It's either between Doing It and The Sixth Sense, but I'm gonna say The Sixth Sense. That Primo beat is cold, but Doing It, for the reasons that I stated earlier. You know what I'm saying? When Hov, people was acting like they were shook of him. The only thing Common didn't do was say his name. But
I wonder what would happen if he didn't say his name.
Nothing.
You don't think Hov wanted a piece of that?
Absolutely nothing. Shout out to Common for making a bitch in you, because he got Cube.
Yeah, he got Cube. He got Cube good.
And he did it like a player.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But
and got Minister Farrakhan involved.
And people don't want to come to Chicago with those problems.
No.
So messing with Common is the equivalent to, the way these little drill rappers acting in Chicago now. The repercussions would have been more worse than they foolery, 12 Cal.
Wow.
I'm going to just say that. That's how much they love Common here.
Man, that's what's up. That's what's up. Mm-hmm. All right, man. So now it's time to tally up the...
I didn't give you my favorite song off of B.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, give me your favorite. My bad. No, you're good.
My favorite song off of B is Food.
Yes.
I like Food.
Yeah. I got to go with that too. Favorite off of B is Food. Hands down, my favorite off of Like Water for Chocolate is Nag Champa.
Yeah, that's good.
Listen, that beat, when that beat comes on, man, listen, I just start floating. And then Ghetto Heaven Part 2 is probably a close second. I mean, Thelonious is probably a close third. Like those three right there, Riders. Whoo, man, listen, I'm good. Those three right there, I think. I don't know that it's tough to beat those three right there. It's just really tough.
Man, it's some good production on this motherfucker.
Yeah, it's really, really great production. I'm with you. Payback as a grandmother had to grow on me. I don't skip it. It's cool because it kind of reminds me of the joint. You know what I'm talking about? That was on One Day It'll All Make Sense.
Exactly.
The robbery, the heist.
This part 2.
Yeah, part 2, exactly. So yeah, so it's now it's time to tally them up. All right, Ryder. So like Water for Chocolate, you scored 21.5.
Okay.
For B, you scored 23.5. Now for me, I scored B at 21 points. Like Water for Chocolate, I've got it at 28.5.
Hey, like Water for Chocolate is good, man.
Oh
It's
yeah, I mean
good.
you can't go wrong. So
Nope.
this goes to show you folks at home and listening. Rod is pretty. He's got these albums pretty close, but he's got B slightly better than Like Water for Chocolate, and I have Like Water for Chocolate better than B. And you know what? That's what the verses is. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't, we didn't think of these. We didn't come up with these numbers. We just literally came up with these numbers on this show, on this program.
Right.
Yeah. So that's you had it a whole lot closer than I did, and I'm not surprised either.
But you know what though, 12 Cal,
Mhm.
honestly, if like Water for Chocolate was sequenced differently,
There you
it'll
go.
be a classic.
Yep.
It'll be a
Yeah.
classic.
It ain't. If I had to give it mics, it's definitely a strong 4 mic album.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely a strong. Well, they're both 4 mic albums. I think I could make a
Yeah,
case for this being
absolutely.
4.5. I could make a case for Like Water being 4.5.
Yeah, if
Um,
the songs was changed around, the
mhm.
sequencing of the order of the songs, you know, I
And then
think
two,
that's
you know
it.
what you mentioned too. I think um, that might be problematic for some people, particularly now. The length, you did mention that, and then you know what? I never think about how long these songs are, but look, because when I opened it up and I was like, damn, it's 77 minutes. It don't feel like it's 77 minutes, which
Cause
is
she be engaged.
yeah, exactly. And I don't skip any song. The only song that I skip is that is the MC Light joint.
Oh
But
no.
but conversely, you know, I got to give Kanye and Common credit on B because they get in and they get right out.
Yeah, man.
They don't hold you. They don't hold you at all. Um, go ahead. Go ahead.
It was such a it was a good listen, like almost listening to a motherfucking EP, but they
Mm-hmm.
didn't cheat you. You know, it
Facts.
was kind of like listening to like maybe like Illmatic. I ain't comparing it to Illmatic, but it was
Mm-hmm.
a easy
Easy
listen.
listen.
You know, I was like, damn, you know, I want more.
And you know what, man? I think that's what good music is supposed to do. It's supposed to put you in a
Hmm.
position where when you're done listening, you still want more. And when the album is over, you're like, man, I want more. When we were coming up, it was about us flipping that tape over and playing it again because we weren't satisfied with our listening, with what we were just fed to our ears as far as what we were listening to. And, I love the fact that these albums do that. I'm a little disappointed that a lot of music of today doesn't do that.
You, you know what I think part of the problem is, 12
Mhm,
Cal?
mhm.
Back in it, first of all, anybody could get into music right now.
Facts.
You know, there's people in this game like roaches.
Hmm.
But the thing that I miss most of all is the experience of opening up a tape,
Yeah,
opening up
man.
a cassette, and listening right on the spot. I do the digital thing,
Hmm.
but I also buy the vinyls of the stuff that I like because I know the artists need the money,
Oh
and
wow,
I
that's what's up.
collect vinyl. You know,
Okay, I didn't know that.
yeah,
You got a big
I
collection?
collect. Yeah, I do. It's
Okay,
growing. My dad, he used to collect records.
okay.
Yeah, but you know, I buy what I like or what I could catch, and you know, I still dig. So I go
Hmm.
to the places, you know, where you could dig for records, you know,
Hmm.
and track live. But
Have you I know I mentioned earlier that you're an MC. Have
hmm
you been digging? Do you dig for your own production or just
yeah, I
just
do.
you okay, okay, cool.
Yeah, I
That's
do.
what's up. That's what's up. Okay. Well, man,
Mhm.
listen, this has been dope, man. I like I said, when I wrote this down as a versus, and I got trust me, I have a list of albums that we're gonna do versus podcasts on, and I can almost guarantee you that Rodis will not. I mean, Rodis will be back on this pod. We may do another versus, but he definitely will be back on this podcast for sure, for sure.
Oh, for sure. I got to get you back on the Rider Slide podcast. We're going to do some
anytime.
things.
Anytime.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get out of here, man, Riders, tell folks where they can find you, where they can catch you, get some merch, the whole nine.
All right, so you can catch me on Instagram frequently at The Real Riders. My website is www.ridersonline.net. That's RODES online.net. And you could get my merch at www.riderslivepodcast.store. But I'm going to simplify that for everybody. Linktree /RODES.
Facts.
That's it. My podcast drop every Friday at midnight. So tap in, y'all. Once you listen, you're going to come back. I promise.
For sure. Oh, no doubt. And man, listen, like I said, I'm glad to get you on this one, man. This has been fun. You guys know where to catch me. If you don't, here's where you can find me. The 12 Kyle podcast. The podcast drops every Thursday at midnight. From time to time, we drop bonus episodes on Sunday, so be sure to subscribe. There's a YouTube channel. You can check me out on YouTube as well and watch us here live. If you feel so inclined, if you want to contribute to us financially, hit us up on Cash App, $TWELVEKYLE. If you want to catch me on the social media, all social media platforms, it is 12 Kyle Podcast as well as 12 Kyle. So yeah, that's it. That's gonna do it for us. So for my man Rodis, I'm your boy 12 Kyle. We will catch you guys next time. 5,000.